Hi guys, it's Chobis. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm bringing you 10 tips to travel more for less in 2020. Let's go. So my first tip was going to be to live simply. I know, wait, before y'all come for me, hear me out. We all know our income is set. At least in the foreseeable future, we know what we earn. So if we want to travel more, traveling is what? An expense. So what do? We have to cut back in certain areas, i.e. cut back our expenses in order to make more room for travel. So we all need to just find creative ways to travel. Basically, if we wanted to travel more, we need to prioritize travel. How do you prioritize travel? Say you work a 9 to 5 and you have to eat lunch. So on lunch you always spend, what does an average American spend? Let's say, $12 to $15 a day on lunch. So say you spend $12 a day. That's $60 a week. That's $240 a month. That's to take it to Turks and Caicos from JFK. Like, what is you doing? You know you want to travel more. Just pack your little lunch, your rice and stew, your jollof rice, your salad. Take it to work, bring it to work, lunchtime, sit at your desk and just eat that. And box your uncle. You scored yourself and take it to Turks and Caicos just by making this little life change. So it's important, if you wanted to travel more, to live simply. Another idea, if you're a coffee drinker, bring your own coffee and just eliminate the $5 you spend at Starbucks buying what? A macchiato. 2 pumps of sugar, or what do they even call it? 2 pumps of cream, 1 sugar, whatever. That's not necessary. Just bring your own. You make exactly how you want it from home, and you save $5 a day. That's what, 25 a week, 100 a month. That's what you eat while you're in Turks and Caicos. It's simple, right? Moving on, tip number 2. So tip number 2 is to take shorter trips, shorter weekend trips or holiday weekend trips. Granted, sometimes tickets are more expensive during holiday season, so you have to schedule ahead of time. But if you wanted to travel more, one tip is to take shorter trips. You can take a shortest trip down to cities nearby. You could take a short trip, it might be winter in America, but a short trip to Tulum or Cancun, Mexico. There you have it, a different city, different town, different vibe, exploring what Tulum has to offer, right? So I'd advise to take shorter weekend trips or long holiday weekend trips, and you won't regret it. Also, with those who have PTO, those who have limited PTO, it's way better for you. If you had 10 days PTO for the year, you're better off taking 10 short weekend trips, maybe around holidays, or long holiday weekends. That way you have 10 trips, 10 short trips, rather than taking just one trip, spending 2 weeks in Bar. Fine, granted, it would be fun to go all the way to Bar and have, enjoy the sun, the sand, the beaches, but then would you rather not go out and explore different cities and towns? You get what I mean? Moving on, tip number 3 is to batch travel. I love this tip so much because it's low-key very cost efficient. Maybe it's been your dream to visit Mauritius. You're bent on going to Mauritius. 2020 is your year. You're visiting Mauritius. You're going to see this beautiful island. You've seen so many pictures. You've pinned so many pictures on Pinterest. You've saved so many pictures on Instagram. You're like, yes, this is my year. I'm going to enjoy on the beaches of Mauritius, and I'm going to live my best life. What do? You fly. You're coming all the way from North America. You're flying 20 hours plus all the way to the Indian Ocean just to stay on Mauritius for 2 weeks and come back. No, sis, no. I'd advise you explore some of the countries and cities around Mauritius. So how about you go to Mauritius for maybe 3 to 4 days, visit Seychelles for a couple of days, maybe try the safaris in Kenya, Masai Mara for a couple of days to 2 or 3 days, and then you find that it's way cheaper to travel in a specific region around. Tickets are way cheaper under $100, and you would have already done the big purchase anyways, because you've already purchased your $2,000 ticket all the way from JFK to Mauritius. So why don't you use the opportunity to explore some of the neighboring towns around? Last year, for instance, I really wanted to go to St. Mauritius. So what did I do? I booked a trip around East Africa. So visited Nairobi, Masai Mara, Lake Naivasha, Lamu, Zanzibar, North Zanzibar, Nungwi, Stone Town, Zanzibar, Mauritius. So I ended up exploring 5 or 6 different cities in 2 weeks, which makes sense because you would have taken 10 days out of your PTO, but then you've gotten the opportunity to explore through 2 to 3 or sometimes 4 countries. Another good spot to do some batch travel, I'd say Asia. You could go down, explore Bali, Vietnam, Cambodia, Philippines, Thailand. Explore one region because tickets traveling around that area, flying from place to place is way cheaper. So once you've done the big ticket item, spend that $2,000 all the way to Southeast Asia or Southern Asia, you might as well explore. Yeah, it was raining too much outside, so I had to come back in. The rain got heavier. So moving on, tip number 4. Tip number 4 will be to go on group travels. Get a group of friends, maybe 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 friends, and come together, find a city, get an Airbnb, split the cost on accommodation, split the cost on food. You guys can go to the local farmers market together and then just cook. It's a fun activity. You're exploring a different city, you're exploring the markets, you're getting to know the city more. And you also get to enjoy your friends, traveling with friends, having fun, playing games, exploring, sharing the experiences. It makes for richer experiences because you're in a different place enjoying and taking in all these amazing things with people, and then you get to cut down on cost. You get to split accommodations, split the food costs, split everything. Besides your airfare, you basically split everything with your friends, and there you have it. I know it sometimes gets annoying because there's this running joke amongst Africans. You say, oh, let's do this summer with friends, and then the time comes and everyone gives you excuses like they didn't know they had to do all those things all along. So I'd say when you can travel in groups, it's more cost efficient. Moving on, tip number 5. Yeah, so tip number 5 I'd say is to explore credit card options. Explore before you think I'm saying y'all should just go around, get credit cards and just travel on credit cards. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying sometimes you end up earning free miles. Maybe it's not free because I guess it's a bonus, but you end up earning miles on purchases on these travel cards. So it's more cost efficient and smarter. That's if you're responsible with your finances, to get a travel credit card and then do your regular everyday purchases, things you would have spent regardless on, like your rent, if your apartment or your home allows it. Pay your rent on your credit card, pay your bills on your credit card, and then that way you can earn miles which you can use towards travel. Sometimes you can get like hotels, flights for free with your miles. So I'd say, yeah, try travel credit card. A good one, it depends on where you live or what state you live. Say I live in, my closest airport is Philadelphia International Airport, PHL. So it's smarter to have American Airlines cards because it's a hub and most flights to most places in the world would be American more often than not from PHL. So I know the American Airlines City Platinum card is really good. Yes. So you can look into that. I know the Chase Sapphire card is good. I've heard a lot of good reviews about it, because with that you can use like any airline and you still earn miles regardless of what airline it is. And also if you live, say maybe in New York, or you fly often from JFK, you can do the Delta Sky Miles. In your Delta Sky Mile cards, you might get most flights to most islands, most cities with Delta or any of their partner airlines. So yeah, I'd say look into travel credit card and use it responsibly though. Okay, so tip number 6, I'll say, is to budget and plan ahead. It's very important if you want to travel more to budget and plan ahead. That way you know exactly how much you have and exactly what you can afford, so nothing is a surprise to you. Budget ahead, plan everything ahead. Also, you end up getting everything way cheaper because you have more time to play around with travel websites. Take your time, wait it out for the prices to come down, and then that way you end up with saving more. So budget ahead. If you don't budget and plan, it's like everything would be last minute and you end up paying unnecessarily more than you would have to. So budget and plan ahead. And also understand that travel is a luxury. So in order to afford a luxury, you need to make the sacrifices and plan ahead. So when it's time to travel, you can have the most enjoyable experience. Moving on, tip number 7. So tip number 7, I would say explore all accommodation options. Nothing is off limits. Couchsurfing, Airbnb, hostels, everything. Explore all options. I personally haven't done any of the couchsurfing things. That creeps me out a bit, if I'm very honest. So, but that's not off limits. Never say never. I never know. I might try once and I'd love it. But explore all accommodation options. At least explore Airbnb, hotels, and hostels. Sometimes you would think that, oh, hostels would be way cheaper, so let me just go the hostel route. Meanwhile, there's a deal on a hotel, a 4 or 5 star hotel, that might be much more convenient and cost efficient to use. For instance, if you were traveling alone in a place where you felt not too safe, I'd advise to spend the extra cash and stay in a hotel. But if you were doing the tip number 6 and you were planning ahead, you'd have more time to play around, research the area, the hotels, read reviews, and then make the best decision. And yes, read reviews, they are real. Read reviews, especially when the website has a lot of reviews. Read reviews. I personally do not stay in any hotel under 4 stars. If it's a less than 4-star hotel, I might as well stay in an Airbnb or hostel. No hotels under 4 star, but that's my personal preference. So find what you like or what works for you and research and plan. Yes, so that's tip number 7. Explore all accommodation options. So moving on, tip number 8. I never get these hand gestures right, I should stop. Yeah, so tip number 8 is to travel off the beaten path, travel off season, or look at pricing holistically. So say you wanted to go to Barbados, but then it's carnival season in August. Obviously prices will be way more expensive during that season, and prices of hotels and food and activities will be way higher because they know they have an influx of tourists coming in, right? So maybe you want to go in February when no one is really checking for Barbados that much. That way you save more and your bucket goes a longer way. Activities are way cheaper, you can bargain, you have hotels are cheaper, you have more options because it's not like it's fully booked and there's no accommodation, so prices are quadruple the price. I mean, accommodation is quadruple the price. So travel off season or off the beaten path where no one is going. Sometimes tickets for places where people don't travel to too often are more expensive, but then everything else is cheaper. So that's when the holistic view comes in. If you looked at just tickets, you might say, oh, it's too expensive, I'm not going. But sometimes the ticket might be a little more expensive, but then accommodation is almost nearly free, or food and activities are so cheap, or comes with a hotel. So look at the package holistically. You could go to Turks and Caicos and maybe all the hotels come with all activities, maybe all non-motorized water sports are inclusive, food is included, everything is included. So then you're saving money on all these activities. So you're okay with spending a little bit more on your hotel, and then the holistic view of the package turns out being cheaper. So look at everything as a whole and not like individual costs. I mean, look at it individually, but as a whole, how much is actually coming out of your pocket. Yes. Moving on, tip number 9. Tip number 9 is one of my faves. Actually, all these tips are my faves. So tip number 9 is to explore all third-party sites. All third-party travel sites, hotel sites, explore them, look at the prices, but never book on third-party sites, except for hotels. Yeah. Even that, always check the hotel website or the airline website you're trying to book when you find these great deals, and actually check and see how much it costs. 9 out of 10, it's either the same price on the website, the original website, or even cheaper, trust me. So always use the third-party sites. Some third-party sites you can use for travel: Kayak, Skyscanner, Cheapo Air, Student Universe, Google Flights. Like, there's a ton out there. Go do your research. Hopper, Skiplag. Go do your research. Look at all of them. Explore all their prices. When you find one that is great, now go on all of them and see how much that same ticket, same route costs on each and every site. I find that Google Flights always has the best and cheapest flights. So personally, I use Google Flights the most. I start from Google Flights and move on. So if I wanted to go somewhere, another tip, if you want to go somewhere and you're not sure, you just wanted to travel more but you weren't sure where you wanted to go, I'll say use Skyscanner and just set your airport location. So say with me, I live close, my closest airport is Philadelphia, so I just use PHL to everywhere, and then the dates you have available, and just explore all the cities you can go to within that period that you've chosen, and then just pick the cheapest one because you don't care where you go to anyway. So whatever you find intriguing, explore it. Another way with Google Flights, if I know I wanted to go to a specific place, you set your location, set the specific place. Usually I play around, like I know I can do maybe sometimes JFK, Newark, or PHL, so I'll play around with those airports, put in my dates, put in my location, sometimes play around with the dates, because obviously it's more expensive to travel during the weekend over a weekday. So if you can and your PTO would allow, maybe you could leave a Thursday night instead of a Friday night and just work from home on Friday when you arrive at your location in the morning. Yeah, so explore all travel sites, but as much as possible, book on the original site. That way you have all the benefits and all the security. It's more secure, sometimes more cost efficient, and you know you're getting everything legit. And also make sure if you're using a third-party site, you do your necessary research, because sometimes there's all these things in the fine print, and when you run into trouble, they wouldn't be able to help you that much. So as much as possible, just book on the original site, but do your research. Always do your research and compare prices on all sites. So yes, so we made it. Final tip. Tip number 10. Yay, I got this right. Yeah, tip number 10 is to be flexible. Woo! Oh, just joking. Okay, be flexible. Not that kind of flexible, but yes, you should be flexible. If you want to travel more and travel the world, you should be flexible with where you want to go, when you want to go, how you want to go. Explore all options. Sometimes the most cost efficient is to travel by car, sometimes by flight, sometimes by sea. Sometimes just be flexible. Whatever route will take you there the quickest or give you the richest experience, don't shy away from it. Explore that option. Be flexible with the flights you take, the time, your layovers. If sometimes it might be cheaper to go direct from here to say Mexico. Sometimes it's cheaper to go through LA before you get to Mexico. So explore all your options, obviously based on the time you have, or sometimes we have limited PTO, I get it, so you can like just take off days and just go beating around the bush just to get to Mexico. I get it. Let me put it this way, the more flexible you are, the more bang for your buck you get. The more flexible you are, the longer way your money would go. So just try and be flexible, and yes, explore the world, and that's it. Yes, so there you have it, my 10 tips to travel more for less in 2020. Let me know what you think, and if you have any other tips you can share with us, me and the community, leave your comments down below, and maybe someone might benefit from it. I'ma head out, and I'll see y'all next video. Don't forget to like if you're into it. Just smash the like button, and share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all next video. Love y'all.